right. And we're back with Friday the 13th. Get that crap off the screen there. There we go. I'll just wait on that here. There we go. Alright, so gonna do Monday movie chat here. Let's see what movies we're gonna talk about here. Let's see, we could talk about what was from last week. Atomic Blonde was the only big one I can remember. Well, technically there was an Inconvenient Sequel, but not as not a horrible film, but yeah, I dug An Inconvenient Sequel. For those who don't know, it's the sequel to Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth, which is about the documentary about global warming, and in this this like 10-year follow-up, well, this is technically 11 years, but I think it was delayed because they wanted to add more information into it. It is a it's very interesting how, like, you know, he plays up on, like, you know, the politics of it, like, you know, oh man, the spamming the channel in there. Whatever they watch. So yeah, like, what's interesting about the documentary is, like, it does play up on the politics. It's kind of mostly an Al Gore saying, like look, all this stuff that you guys denied. No, guess what? Yeah, it's true. It actually happened. So most of the stuff, I mean, it's not a great documentary. I think it's a little bit lost in Al Gore sensationalism. Like, there's a lot of footage of him taking, like, selfies with people at, like, the climate summit and all that. But most of the we got a baby in here. Oh, this is creepy. Well, this will be interesting. Yeah, it's getting a little harder to find, like, English speakers on these servers now. I think the game might be hitting its peak for me. I'm gonna have to find a different game soon, but hopefully you can get through this here. It does make this game kind of unplayable, though, and you can't really understand much of anyone here. Which one do we got here? Let's see. Oh man, I'm right next to him too.
I have to do something. I have to escape.
Oh, close enough to everyone. So yeah, I think the film Inconvenient Sequel gets a little bit lost in the Al Gore sensationalism. I don't think it's going to convert people who think it's too political. And the thing about that is, like, some people say, like, oh, well, you know, I would agree with the science, but, you know, he gets really political with everything. Well, kind of hard not to be political with this issue, especially when, you know, the Trump administration is trying to block some of this stuff and basically saying that, you know, hey, you know, global warming's not cool or anything like that, or it's a waste of money.
Real. Please help us. Help.
Even though it's all about renewable energy, and he makes some solid cases for using renewable energy, including a Texas town that's embraced it, even though they're firm Trump supporters and everything. They still want, they want to have cheap renewable energy, so that's some proof. Kind of amusing watching Al Gore take a photo in front of the the Republican headquarters in Texas town with a big smile on his face. Yeah, it's kind of funny. So yeah, I dug the film. I don't think it's gonna, but I don't really like the film because I don't think it's gonna really persuade anyone who's not already on board with the science. Like, if you haven't been convinced before, chances are this probably won't do it either. And it's mostly just Al Gore preaching to the choir, mostly. Man, I'm finding a lot. Seriously, got the car keys, pocket knife, firecrackers. Oh. Uh-oh. What should we do? Should we...
Hey, motherfucker.
Oh, we got a trash talker.
How are you, bitch?
Oh, kid.
Oh, bitch, you die.
Alright. Let's book it. Let's see, where are we going? Where are we going?
Man, come on. Come on here. Come on here. Come on here.
Where are the windows?
Come on here.
Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Come on, kid. Don't give me the voices. Make Jason intimidating.
What the fuck, man? Hello, man. How are you? How are you, man?
Oh, man. How many times are you gonna shift?
Come on.
Ah,
How
crap.
are you?
And we're out. Oh. Almost.
Oh, you're dead? Oh, fucking live.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sticking around to hear him squeal. Ah, it sucks. It sucks just that the game is on its last legs when you can tell when the little kids are getting on here. And trying to be funny. Their cute little voices. Yeah, remember that Friday the 13th movie where the Jason squealed like that? Yeah, it was very, very scary. Very, very frightening. More Japanese guys. Oh, they're out. So interesting note at the at an Inconvenient Sequel screening, they actually had the directors there who were talking about the film and how just I think what I found most amazing about the film was how up to date it was. Excuse me. Because apparently, like the film had been finished in like 2016, like before the election when Trump was elected, and like they were like editing it while the election was going on, and then it happened, and then everyone freaked out, and Al Gore kind of went into like a little bit of a funk just because Trump was vowing to to get out of like the climate talks that we were already in and everything, so that was edited into the film. And even the recent issue where Trump left, like resigned like the U.S. from like the climate summit, that was included in like a text at the end as well. And even after the film, there was a Q&A with the directors, and they were talking about the current state of the climate affairs going on in Minnesota at the time. So it's a very up to date film. I don't know. I just thought that was very unique. The other film from last week was Atomic Blonde, and I really want to love this picture because, well, first off, Charlize Theron is awesome. Like honestly, if she hasn't proved herself as an action star, with the Mad Max Fury Road and Fate of the Furious, well, she's proved it with Atomic Blonde. I mean, she carries this picture, especially because, hello. Hello. I just heard a high-pitched scream there for a minute. Oh my goodness. Well, please let me be Jason so I can slaughter these kids. Yes. Wish granted.
Make them remember, Jason.
I think I dug this one. I think he was a little bit faster than the other ones, I think. Let's see. Where do you want to go first? Well, let's booby trap the car first. I know it's like an amateur thing to do, but still. Might as well. Might as well set up the traps. While we wait for our sensing to come in here. And we'll double up on the traps. Why not? Put all the traps down. Alright. Now, where are we looking? Oh! Oh, you poor soul. Look at you trying to creep. Oh. That's right. Run away from Jason. So while we are killing some teens tonight, oh, you didn't even shut the door, you douche. Oh.
Get up, Jason. Find
Is that?
them.
No, it was him. Ah, you clever little bitch. So yeah, Atomic Blonde was actually, it has some interesting I think it works better in like bits and pieces than I think it does. But how many weapons you got, dude? It's a film that works better in bits and pieces than I think that does as a whole. Mainly because it's trying to find a style of, you know, her playing the secret agent who's going to Berlin during the fall of the Berlin Wall, and trying to cover some like list of agents or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just Charlize Theron going into Berlin to kick some butt, and she does. She's got some really cool action scenes here. The only problem with that, though, is that it's all over the place with its style. I mean, sometimes it's like a crazy stunt parade of just of Theron going nuts. Oh, you clever girl. Or dude, whatever. But yeah, there's some cool styles and stunts like that, and I think I mentioned in my review, but having fun, huh? Oh my goodness. Come on. Oh boy. Had to be AJ, didn't it? Come on, dude. Come on. Alright. Oh. Hello. Oh, come on. Around the back. And back in you go. Oh, come on, dude. Show some dignity. Show some dignity, AJ. Yeah, I think I'm getting just about done with this game. Oh, please open the door. Oh, come on.
I hate you so much, fuck you.
Oh, where is he? Where are you? Give it a shot. Oh, there you are. Oh, you clever girl. Oh, let's head to the next house. Freak him out first. Come on, I gotta get my rage up soon. Oh, you better run, AJ. Oh, come on. Enough of this. Ooh, got trapped with the car.
Take you from me,
Oh,
Jason.
come on.
Don't let them.
Wait, did I? What the? Okay, I guess I killed him. With the trap, no less. Alright, not bad. Sorry if I got distracted on the atomic blonde. I just
They want to hurt
have to
you,
kill these
Jason.
teens tonight when they're
Don't
screaming in
let
here.
them.
But yeah, like I mentioned with Atomic Blonde, I think there's gonna be like someone's gonna post this amazing scene where she goes into a where she goes up to this apartment building and smashes her way through. Just like brutalizes her way through like all these agents, like stabbing them, punching them, throwing out balconies.
You
And
can
she goes
never
up the
die.
stairs into an apartment complex and out the door. And into a car and then into a river. It's an amazing scene. It feels like something out of like The Raid. And I swear someone's going to post that clip on YouTube. And they're going to be like, this is the best movie ever. Why wasn't it more highly rated? And it's because, well, you know, the rest of the movie isn't like that. It's very inconsistent in style. Especially with trying to find its style too. Like it's all over the place with like neon colors and its 80s soundtrack. Like it picks some really weird choices for the 80s soundtrack here. Like a lot of choices that are obvious, like 99 Love Balloons and stuff like that. But most of them don't fit. It's rather surprising.
They
What?
want to
Oh,
hurt
it's
you,
behind me
Jason.
there.
Don't let them.
So yeah, I came very close to liking this film, but it was so all over the place that it never really settled on much of a tone. It's a very chaotic mess, but almost a pleasing mess. Like it's got a great, for the varying styles that it has, most of them work. It's just too bad there wasn't like a consistency to it. Oh, come on. Let's see what we can get in here. So yeah, those are the most current movies. I mean, I got a screening of Detroit tomorrow, and Dark Tower I think will be on Wednesday. And I think those are the really big films right now. We did not get a screening of the Emoji Movie, unfortunately. Which kind of stinks, because it was clear that it wasn't just like in our area too. Like you can tell, like Sony really didn't want anyone to review that picture because I think there was the embargo was set for like Thursday at sometime in the afternoon. I think it might have been Thursday evening. Yeah, so essentially they didn't want anyone talking about this film before it came out, even if they had screeners for it. Oh, finally got Rage. Let's see if we can find somebody. Oh. get you. Oh,
They want to hurt you, Jason.
it's been a while since I played as Jason like this. Luckily we got rage now, so walk on through to the other side. I don't even care if I don't get her, just like walking through walls. It's so much fun. Let's see, where'd you go? Gotta be around here somewhere. Come on, just one. Oh, come on. Nothing?
They want to hurt you, Jason. Don't let them.
Damn. Smart call there. Oh man, I am not doing that well as Jason tonight. Let's see if we can get in here. Nothing. Come on. Oh, someone get caught in the oh no, it's someone barreling out a window. They're still in here. In here? Oh my goodness, the frame rate.
Don't stop.
Yeah, I don't even
Jason.
care.
They deserve to die.
You don't deserve a
Make
kill
them
after
suffer
that.
like we did.
Still? Where are you hiding? Yeah. Oh. Dang it, they're by the car. Come on. Oh, come on. Dignity.
They want to hurt you, Jason. Don't let them.
They can't get out, can they? Really, dude? Well, you trapped yourselves in, dummy. Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go? Oh, don't do this. Oh, come on.
From me, Jason. Don't let
Oh my goodness. Getting demolished tonight.
What happened?
Over to the car.
Holy shit! Is that a dead body?
Jason. You know what your gift is. No matter
Oh,
what,
come on.
you cannot die. You can never die.
Come on, Jason. What is... Oh, I got some betrayal going on here. I guess Jason's that boring tonight that he's gotta... Ooh.
They want to hurt you, Jason. Don't let them.
Someone's already been betrayed, huh? Up we go. Oh, I'm coming in there for you. Oh, I'm a-coming.
Help! Oh God! Fuck you!
Ugh, should have smacked him.
From me, Jason. Don't let them.
So I've been trying to catch up on a couple of older movies recently. A lot of movies from the 90s. For a little project I'm working on. Is he outside? Yeah, it probably is. So I've been trying to rewatch a few different movies from the 90s, and why do I keep going back here? I keep thinking they're going to be out here, but they're not. Yeah, I'll try that. Oh, we got the viewer here. We got Sebastian Villegas. What's his name? Yeah, the game looks great, but it's just plenty of films for that. Films for what? The game? I think there's enough Friday the 13th movies. Yeah, let me know if there's any films you want to talk about. I was just talking about a couple of 90s films here. I'm just going to mention I was rewatching Bad Lieutenant.
They want to hurt you, Jason.
Yeah, the types of films that I'm doing for this project is I'm just kind of looking for a bunch of different 90s essential movies. Not just like the best, but like the weird and the worst ones that you don't want to... The ones you don't want to watch and the ones that you kind of should watch. Like there's... Like Space Jam is not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. But you should probably see it just because it's of its era. Body Snatchers is a pretty damn good film. Wait, are you talking about the I'm trying to remember which Body Snatchers that was, because like there was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and then there were a couple different ones like that. If I'm thinking about the 70s one, I think that one. Space Jam doesn't hold up, but it's so much of the era that you kind of have to see it. I mean, you have Michael Jordan playing himself at a crucial point in his career, like making fun of himself at this point in his career. You have the Looney Tunes in their current state at the time, which was trying to be gangster. You have... I'm trying to remember. The soundtrack was amazing. It is one of the most 90s soundtracks you will ever see. I'm trying to remember what was on it. It was like Ludacris. And, I'm blanking on it, but it was such a good soundtrack. It's got like 4 big names of hip-hop that are all in the same song, no less. Yeah, there's always going to be a new Invasion of the Body Snatchers. There's been tons of versions. The 70s version is still my favorite. I don't mind the 2005 version with Nicole Kidman. I think it's kind of an underrated one. Fly Like an Eagle did come from Space Jam, hell yeah. Remember the first time I heard Basketball Jones and I mean, come on. Like, come on and slam if you want to jam.
Ah, got him, bitch.
Oh my goodness.
Come to
Children.
mommy, Jason.
Come on,
to
give me a point so I
mommy.
can get out of this this match. But yeah, that soundtrack's amazing. That's one of the reasons you should watch it. Yeah, it's not a great film, but it has its moments. It's very much of the era, which is why I want to include it in the book. Because honestly, where else am I going to talk about Space Jam? You know, best animated live action movies. Oh, was that 2007? Yeah, that's right. I still want to see a new Nightmare on Elm Street film, but I can't believe Rings killed any chance of a new Friday the 13th film. Sadly, yeah, but you know, who knows? I mean, with how much popularity this game has given the franchise, it very well could, you know, come back in popularity. Because I mean, Ring was bad, but it wasn't like a huge loss. I mean, they probably spent like what, maybe 10, couldn't have spent more than $20 million on that. So eventually it'll come around, because the good news is horror films are kind of in right now if they're done on the cheap. And Friday the 13th is a film that, you know, if you're smart, you can make it small and make it effective with some cool kills for not a lot of money. Yeah, Paramount was pretty dumb in canceling it, because horror films are in right now. I mean, hell, even if you make them cheap enough, they'll still make a profit, even if they're garbage. I mean, hell, Rings was not popular, but it didn't like majorly bomb. Didn't make a lot of money, but it made some money. Oh, the Soska sisters. Yeah, I seriously want to see them do more stuff. For those who don't know, the Soska sisters, they're a directing duo, and they're identical twins that have appeared in a couple different horror films. I forget which segment. They did a horror segment for that horror anthology XX, which is not a great horror anthology, but definitely has some neat shorts worth checking out, I think.
Did anyone else get away?
Well, then again, Paramount greenlit Monster Trucks. Yeah, well, the thing about Monster Trucks is that came out in did they leave XX? Oh dang, I thought they were involved. But yeah, they were in ABCs of Death, you're right. Well, good call on their part for the Soska sisters for leaving leaving XX, because I think it was kind of all over the place. I did like ABC's of Death, though. That is a damn good horror anthology. And you'll find that, you know, when it comes to horror, or any type of genre, I'm a pushover for anthology films. They're like boxes of chocolate, you know. Yeah, Monster Trucks was filmed about 2 years ago and shelved because nobody knew what the hell to do with it. And again, and it's one of those films that, you know, if it came out in January, obviously it was sitting on the shelf and they didn't know what to do with it. Oh, XX is on Netflix if you want to check it out. And yeah, it's worth checking out. Well, it's really only worth checking out for the there's these animated transition scenes, and I forget which animator did it, but she uses like stop motion really well. That made it worth it. The horror stories are fairly standard horror stories. I don't think they use they use the whole like female angle well. They try to use it with stuff that like women could relate to, but it either comes off as blunt or stuff that they don't take advantage of, which was a big problem because there's some really solid concepts in that in those first two shorts. Good idea, yeah. Save it for October. Horror marathon, man. Need some good horror because we're gonna get another Saw movie for Halloween. Which I mean, I saw the trailer for the new Saw movie and it looks like it's just the same as the last one, you know, just going for the most bombastic stunts that you can. Turn that on, Jason. Yeah, there should be more women in the horror franchise. Actually, there are quite a few. That, well, there's not like a whole bunch, but then again, like there's not as many big horror film directors out there right now. You know, because I'm a big horror anthology nut, yeah, I am kind of a little bit interested in Saw. I think, even though I think the only really good Saw film is the 6th one, just because I think that found the best angle to take. Oh, trap. But yeah, I definitely want to see more from, what's her name? Jennifer Kent, who worked on The Babadook. Which, The Babadook, man, that movie got under my skin so much. And maybe it's just because I'm a parent, but that really terrified me. It just, like, it's scary because you don't know if the monster is, you know, if it's real or if it could just be her hallucinating, because it, you know, for the overworked parent, I can, you know, you can relate to some of those, like, sleepless nights, how it feels like that. Oh, that is a brilliant idea. Jennifer Kent should totally do the next Nightmare on Elm Street. Uh-oh. See if I can save her here. Yeah, just because the way that she shot the Babadook for those scenes where she's just has those sleepless nights. Oh, that'd be so great. I'm gonna go on offensive. Oh, pocket knife. There we go. Yes, rightly so. The Babadook is one of the best horror films, I think, of the last decade. I don't know how I feel about Kent doing Alien, but I definitely think that she should do Nightmare on Elm Street. Is he gonna come through? Ooh, that's a tricky one, Sebastian. Lynn Ramsey to direct Stepford Wives? Possibly. I mean, I've never been that big a fan of the Stepford Wives. I always thought the concept was kind of like a little too blatant that I don't think any director could do it well. But actually, kind of not, more that I think about it, yeah, if you got a good director who focused on the subtleties of it, it could probably work. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, the remake is garbage. And yeah, that's a clear sign of, like, you know, one of those deals where they had an IP and they didn't know what to do with it. They just said, remake it. Just, well, I don't have an angle. Just, you know, just remake it however you feel. Interesting that you should say favorite best monsters or metaphors like Godzilla, because just because of like the history of Godzilla and all that.
Hey, don't go yet. Let me drop.
Oh, Jason got mad. It's because I stole his mom's sweater.
Although I am looking forward
You guys
to
are Napoleon, my bad.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Pick on him.
That's gonna be fun.
All that trouble to grab his sweater. I didn't get to use it.
Well, not only do they miss the potential with those remakes of Elm Street and the Stepford Wives, but I think they focus on improving on the wrong things. Like, they tried to make Freddy Krueger look more like a burn victim, and it just made him look like a Muppet. Oh, totally. Who wouldn't look forward to those Godzilla movies? Like Kong Skull Island. I love the hell out of that film. I mean, a lot of people said it's a lot of people came out of that film thinking like, oh, it's too dumb. You know, they didn't focus too much on like the characters, and it's like, it's a King Kong film. Do you really care that much about Tom Hiddleston firing a machine gun or Samuel L. Jackson raging about Vietnam? No, you came for Kong. So give us some King Kong, and they did a great job. One moment, man. Take out my sweater here. Oh boy. Whew. All right. What was annoying about them is they decided to do shot for shot most of the show. And that's the worst thing you can do with a remake. Is do just shot for shot remakes, because there's no point in doing that. It always angered me when they do that. Like when they did that with the Gus Van Sant did that with Psycho, and they did it with the Evangelion rebuild movies. Apparently they did it with the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Tom and Jerry. They did the exact same thing. Yeah, you don't want to waste that much time to show a monster, especially with characters you really don't care about. Like, I mean, you want to establish enough of a human element where you care about them a little bit, but we don't need, like, hefty backstories. Like, Samuel L. Jackson's character of, like, yeah, you know, lost the war, angry about losing the war, wants to fight something else, got it. And they go straight to Kong. I think that's probably my favorite reveal of King Kong, you know, since like the 33 original. He's just immediately there, out in the open, not hidden in darkness, just plain sight. In all his glory. Ooh, already in the lodge.
What in the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I agree. You know, Jackie Earle Haley, he's a good actor, and he does his best. It's just too bad he's covered in pounds of makeup, you know? Yeah, they really did have a mediocre script. I mean, the whole micro-nap thing was just like the dumbest thing ever. I mean, I understand why they thought it was neat, but it just didn't really work. It's faithful to the original in that it really enhances, you know, the element of Kong that you come to expect. Well, at least it feels like it's filtering, you know, Kong down to what were his best elements. Whereas, you know, like Peter Jackson's version was trying to do like a balancing act of quirky characters, and then the gross out horror elements and the adventure elements, and then Kong fighting dinosaurs. Micronaps I would never pose, but they didn't do that concept right, which made it easier for jokes. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, micronaps could be they are an interesting avenue to pursue, but yeah, they use them terribly for the jump scares. Like, it would have been neat to see just Freddy kind of like slowly more come into their reality rather than just popping up immediately. Because yeah, at this point I think most people are tired of jump scares. Because at least in the recent horror films I've seen, I haven't really seen any. So hopefully we're both over that and found footage horror movies. Yeah, those I'm just so over. Which direction are we going? They already got the car started? Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can get to it here. Oh. Stop. Stop. Yeah. Take me to Wendy's. Get in, loser. Oh boy. Come on, man. Yep. Shoot him in reverse. Dream director for Nightmare on Elm Street. Carolyn Witcher. I've not actually seen that one. I'm gonna have to check that one out. Well, that was a pretty fast match. You don't have to do anything. Well, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to direct a Nightmare on Elm Street film? I mean, it's a concept where you have so much to play with here. I mean, a killer that attacks you in your dreams. They have limitless potential. I'm definitely gonna have to check this this Carolyn Whiter out. I feel like I've heard of her before, but the name's not ringing a bell. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I am gonna have to. I'll check her out. I've been trying to catch up on more smaller horror films because I think that's where it's at right now. The stuff like It Follows and The Babadook. What was that other one I saw this year? It Comes at Night. It's a very good one. Very atmospheric horror film. Sister of Nights on Netflix. Awesome. I got more stuff to watch for October. If it's still there. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, it could probably expire on Netflix. Well, that's going on the queue. Yeah, at this point, I think Freddy Krueger's had enough of a slumber where someone could come back and work on it. Oh yeah, the Witch is amazing. Yeah, very much. If you love The Witch, you will love It Follows. What not? Not It Follows. It Comes at Night. So many It movies. And we got another It movie coming. What the hell? Yeah. A lot of people hated It Comes at Night, though, just because there technically is no it. But at that point, it's just like, you know, it's a name. Who cares? You know, the drama and the horror and the thriller elements were all firing heavy in this film. So why lament on it? Oh, is Leslie Johnson still writing it? I heard that, yeah, that David Leslie Johnson was working on was writing a draft, I think. I haven't really kept up on that too much. But hey, if he can take that script and turn it something else, sure. Give me more horror movies, man. Yeah, I missed my point to be Tommy Jarvis, didn't I? How many? Okay, there's only 3 left, so not too long.
Police? Help! Jason's here! Jason's here! He's killing everyone! Please. Please help!
And Jason's gone. But that's what I love so much about the Vitch, or whatever you want to call it, because it has that old English accent, and they maintain it so well, especially for the for the kid actors. I was amazed at how good the kid actors were at maintaining that accent. And still acting like kids. I mean, you would think that child actors who would have to say that kind of stuff would have like the hardest time trying to act natural, but they don't. They're surprisingly good in it. But yeah, it is one of those films that you're gonna have to turn on the subtitles. That's one of the things I liked about Trainspotting 2, is that they know you're not going to be able to pick up on these Scottish accents, so they not only include subtitles, but they make artistic use of the subtitles by plastering them all around the all around like the rooms and around the characters and stuff like that. So it has fun with it. Well, you don't want to resurrect Jaws. Does Jaws even need to be resurrected? I mean, we already have Sharknado. I mean, what's the point of resurrecting Jaws? We've done everything stupid we can with Jaws at this point. Well, I think everyone had enough of Jaws by the time we got to, what was the fourth one called? The Revenge, I think? The one where Michael Caine gets out of the water and his shirt's already dry? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the last straw.
Hello.
Oh boy. These kids. Another time I really want to be Jason. Please. Dang. Yeah, I remember thinking that was the strangest thing as a... I remember one time on local television station said, "Oh, we're airing the entire Jaws series this week." I was like, "Really? The entire series? Really? God, gotta let that sink in." They were thinking that they wanted more money from the Jaws name. Yeah, they bled that fish dry, man. Especially, like, I don't know if you've seen the Siskel and Ebert review of Jaws to Revenge, but it's it's one of my favorite reviews ever. Because apparently, like, yeah, all the sharks just want to kill the Brody family. It's like, oh, I'll get a Brody if it's the last thing I do. And then questioning the logic, like, okay, they all want to kill the Brodies, but each shark gets killed, so it's not really revenge. So it's like, which shark is attacking them? Is it part of the Jaws family? So we got kind of a Romeo and Juliet thing going on here with the feuding of the sharks and the human family. Oh. Oh, nuts. This probably won't work, but whatever. Hold your breath. And nuts. Is he actually gonna miss me? He might. Today's the 30th anniversary of The Lost Boys and The Living Daylights. Holy crap. That is pretty amazing. Yeah, nothing makes you feel old than just looking back on, like, the anniversaries of certain properties. I'll often do that to annoy my wife, saying like, hey, you know what came out 25 years ago or 20 years ago? This. And then it's like, ah, I feel old. Yeah, The Lost Boys. Whoa.
Holy shit! Is that a dead body?
Sorry, dude. Yeah, another one that got terrible sequels. I think there were like, dang, Jason's on the offensive. I think there were like 3 or 4 Lost Boys sequels. Well, then it wouldn't really be called The Lost Boys if it's all girls, wouldn't it be? What'd you call it then? Like the Lost Girls? Oh. Oh. How did I miss that? Oh. Jeez. Oh, did I get the firecrackers? No, I didn't. Oh, there are only 2 Lost Boys sequels. Oh, thank goodness. One's too many, but still. Yeah, we got the retro Jason tonight. Don't go swimming. Didn't you watch the movies? Yeah, I guess you'd call it the Lost Girls. I'd be cool with that. I'm not sure what if they wanted to name it something different or something like that. But I'd be down for that. That'd actually be pretty cool. Like, I know a lot of people are opposed like this. Oh, you know, replace them with females or whatever. I really don't care as long as, you know, they do a good story like that. I mean, they've done it with stuff before, like, you know, like Battlestar Galactica and, well, obviously the big ones like Doctor Who right now. Which, honestly, doesn't really matter if it works. It's like, oh, they're going to destroy the character of Doctor Who. It's like, Doctor Who never had a really consistent character, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, was Lost Boys 3 even... I don't think Lost Boys 3 was... I think that was direct-to-video, wasn't it? Fairly sure it was. Or maybe I'm thinking of, like, a different one. I know there was at least one Lost Boys film that was direct-to-video. Because, yeah, like, saying it bombed on home video is like, you know, it's you know, if a film bombs on home video, then it's nothing. Oh, they're both on home video? Okay. Yeah, because you don't really bomb with home video. Either you're a big hit or you're not. Oh, the tribe. That's what it was. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember I got the press release for the... Oh boy. Run, nerdy girl. This isn't like Jason Goes to Hell where the nerdy guy wins. Yeah, usually after the first sequel, you're not fooled again. Although, is it wrong that apparently I found out there's a new there's a sequel to Cop and a Half that's coming out next week. And when I say sequel, I don't mean like it's gonna be returning characters. I mean it's just gonna be remaking Cop and a Half, just like they did with Kindergarten Cop 2. No, the Howling actually, I think, got better when you had the female element in there. I think people just don't want it to be, you know, all that, because, I mean, everyone, they were complaining about the Ghostbusters being women, and the problem was just that, you know, it wasn't very funny or well written. Like, it didn't matter if the Ghostbusters were women, but they kind of forgot the core principle of what made Ghostbusters cool. And it wasn't, you know... It wasn't Egon Spengler doing kung fu with his guns. That wasn't part of it. Oh, I know who wanted a Cop and a Half sequel. It was Roger Ebert. Roger Ebert came out very fervently against Gene Siskel, saying that, oh, he loved Cop and a Half. So, it's probably going to say in the credits, dedicated to Roger Ebert. People love the new Ghostbusters because there was a new comic. Wasn't there always been a Ghostbusters comic? Because I think wasn't there was like the one with the old crew, and then there was like an international version. Yeah, the Ghostbusters have always been in comics, I think, more or less. So not a huge surprise if they continue it on through comics. A lot of comic books do that now, just continuing on movie franchises through there if they can't get another film. I just didn't like that it was just nothing but nostalgic callbacks. Because like when it wasn't trying to redefine itself, it was just, you know, going through the motions. And there's a lot of cool potential in the new Ghostbusters. Like I like that they brought up, you know, that there were ghost reality shows. It's like, hey, that would actually be pretty cool, you know, to bring that element in. It's like, no, they just reference it once. It feels very much like a film that was either left on the cutting room floor or they edited out a lot of stuff from the script. Yeah, that sounds about right. The comics usually have like a crossover. Isn't bad. They've given them the standard treatment, which is good. I will grant you, yeah, the Ghostbusters tech carried the film, because that's one part that was kind of glazed over in the other Ghostbusters films. They never really addressed how the fact that they have, you know, essentially nuclear power plants on their back. So yeah, that part I liked, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, you know, ghost shotguns and grenades. It's like, weren't you supposed to be capturing ghosts? I don't understand. Like, it's like there are scenes where they're just like whipping ghosts into smoke, and apparently they leave. Just the confusing bits like that just kind of made me go like, ugh. I don't know if this film knows what it's doing. And I think the worst thing ever was just the cameos. Oh my goodness. Cameoed everyone except Rick Moranis. And just every single one is trotted out. It's kind of painful watching them come on screen. Yeah, that's actually, honestly, that's one of my favorite parts of the new Ghostbusters, is when they test out their tech. Because it's fun to see like their test out their tech and then see it fail, which makes them kind of more like schlubby and gives them more to work for. That was actually a cool angle. I would actually like that if that was the whole film, is just them just trying out their tech, and then just when they encounter a ghost, like, it just doesn't work. I mean, there was that one scene, but I would like it if if like their equipment kept busting up the whole time. Well, that's the other thing too, is like the film went all out with action scenes, but was Ghostbusters ever really known for action? It's like, yeah, the action's alright, but it's also kind of incoherent. It's like, yeah, Kate McKinnon is jumping through the air and shooting guns and whipping ghosts, but whipping them into what? And how is this stopping the ghosts? Yeah, it's not a horrible film. I understand why people like it. It's got some decent writing here and there, and yeah, it's got some stuff going for it. Dream gender swap would be Pink Panther or Inspector Clouseau. The weapons have their own small traps. I was thinking that, yeah, just something small like that I would have bought. Like, oh, our little pistols have traps in them. Like, okay, great. That's all you had to do. Just something small like that. Because it goes against, you know, the conventional Ghostbusters logic of, you know, trap them in a proton stream and then trap them in the trap. Supposedly, I haven't seen the director's cut, but I heard that in the extended cut that that Patty actually brings in a ghost trap while they're shooting up all the ghosts. And it made me wonder, like, okay, well, why, if that's in there, like, why did they take this out? It would have added, like, what, maybe a minute to the film? Would have explained a lot. That would be interesting to see if Kate McKinnon has the energy to match Peter Sellers. She might. I get the feeling she might have to be a little more seasoned to do that. But I think she might. Well, Paul Feig was going, or Paul Feig was just going nuts with Sony at that time. Like Sony's in kamikaze mode right now, and Ghostbusters was probably the one they went the most nuts with, because originally there was supposed to be a practical effect of Slimer, and it looked really cool, and they built this big prosthetic for it, and it just didn't end up using. And like apparently the effects team were told by Feig, you know, oh, just keep making it, and then they ended up just going with CGI. Well, Steve Martin's a little long in the tooth right now. And yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, you know, they just go for whoever's like the big comedic actor who's willing to go for it. And especially for a role like the Pink Panther. I mean, there hasn't been we're about 3 or 4 films away from when, you know, the Pink Panther used to be good. Like, even before Steve Martin got to it, it was in shambles with, like, the son of the Pink Panther. Yeah, I honestly can't think of anyone who I'd want to be in that role. I'm trying to think of something like kind of like a Jacques Tati type you could have in the role of the Pink Panther. You definitely need someone very physical, kind of absent-minded, kind of like, I almost feel like they missed an opportunity with that Steve Martin version by not casting Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen would have been perfect for that, I think. You need to hire Phil Lord and Chris Miller. You know, they might, but I almost wonder if they turn it down. Just because it seems like such a challenge to them. It's almost like something like, hey, like, make this work. And, I think they could. But, I don't know, it feels like they're challenging. Usually because, like, I get a little fearful when directors try to do like remakes and try to put their spin on it and then just get lost in the shuffle of executive demands. But on the other hand, Miller and Lord have proven that, you know, they've done stuff with, like, you know, like the Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street, and they've turned gold out of properties that could have just gone by the wayside. So, you know, it could work, but I don't know. It'd be interesting. I just I don't have a fervent desire for a new Pink Panther movie. I think we've made all the Pink Panther movies there are to be made. Make something original, please. And yeah, that was a stroke of genius, was 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. Pretty amazing. I don't think it's not that Lucasfilm didn't have faith in the Han Solo movie with Miller and Lord. I just don't think they understood Miller and Lord. I think they originally hired them on because they wanted something kind of funny, and then they got something really funny from Miller and Lord, and then just got pissed that they did that, because I get the feeling they were switching gears because Rogue One did so well. And they're like, oh, people like very dark and brooding stuff, so let's make it dark and brooding. And then they looked at Miller and Lord's cut, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? And then kick them off because they're comedy directors. What, oh yeah, shoot, I forgot what that spy comedy was with McKinnon. It sounded neat. Yeah, Miller and Lord are geniuses. They're too good for Lucasfilm. They'll hire some other director who will play ball with whatever they want to do. Somebody like, oh who is the director on like Rush Hour 3? Brett Ratner. Yeah, just get Brett Ratner. He'll do whatever you want. The Spy Who Dumped Me. All right, I got to keep that on my radar. Yep, Brett Ratner, who made the tough call of including the line of "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch" in X-Men 3. If they don't put the handcuffs on Ron Howard, it could work. Because Ron Howard, to the best of my knowledge, hasn't done any terrible films. I wasn't that big of a fan of Rush, but yeah, he's turned out some great films. I mean, obviously people think of, Apollo 13 still. Yeah, it's a tough call of deciding, like, what Miller and Lord should do if they wanted to do, like, a Marvel film for Disney. Kind of stinks. I almost wish that they would have been chosen for, like, the next, like, Deadpool movie or something like that. Or better yet, if they want to embrace, like, the whole DC thing with WB, they should do an ambush bug movie. Oh my goodness, they would turn out an amazing ambush bug movie. Yeah, I hope you got some good footage there. Oh, a Gwenpool movie? I don't know. Gwenpool's too pure. I don't know if we want to do a film with her yet. Let her have her stellar comic book run right now. Maybe in a few years when she's kind of like solidified in the Marvel universe, give her her own film. Right now, I'm just enjoying the comic as it is. That's a very apt comparison there. New Nightmare of Grant Morrison's Animal Man.
Sucks.
Yeah, I got a Russian. No offense against Russia. I just like to. I'm going to talk to my teammates. I like to speak the same language. But yeah, there are a lot of different meta superheroes. And yeah, for Miller and Lord, they're pretty much going to have to go meta. Which, that I'm actually looking forward to. It amazes me how, superhero movies are so big right now. Especially with kids that, well, why don't we make more animated movies? I mean, I know they've done Big Hero 6 and the Lego Batman movie. But still, it surprises me that they don't choose more bigger names to do in animated films. So yeah, that's the one good call by Sony for the Miles Morales animated Spider-Man movie. Yeah, if they're writing it, I'm all for it. Although I am curious to see if... Actually, now I'm a little bit scared now. Because if it's through Sony, I hope they don't have like some like executive meddling they do, where they get angry that Miller and Lord turned in a humorous Spider-Man. It's like, what did you do? Because then they'll just shrug their shoulders and they'll play the Curb Your Enthusiasm music and be like, well, what do you think we do? Well, how long has Miles Morales been around? Like 2012, I think? I think he's been around only since, like, about 5 years now, I think.
What is happening?
But, yeah. It'll be neat to see him. It'll be neat to have, like, a different Spider-Man on the screen at the same time. So we can have 2 different universes. Oh, already?
Oh, she's fucking good at me.
Oh, fuck you.
Alright, that's no way to start the conversation, friend.
It's 2000. It's really been since 2009? Oh my goodness. Oh, nice. Well, still looking forward to it. Oh boy. Well, yeah, I don't think they'll be judged too harshly by Sony. But at the same time, it's like, Sony's gone nuts now. Like, more nuts than they've ever been before. Like, I don't know if you saw that, oh boy. I think here. Like, I don't know if you saw, like, you know, what they did with the Emoji Movie and how they have their new clean version of their films. But they're losing investors like crazy right now. Rumors of a Miss Marvel show based on that mysterious John Marvel show. Possible. Oh. Clever trap. I tip my hat to you, Jason. Just push my body around. Now, if we can come back to Tommy Jarvis. Well, yeah, I mean, the thing with the Emoji Movie is that it's one of those, like, dogpile situations where, you know, they see it has that 0% score, and a lot of people will go for, like, you know, the big headlines. Or they'll just, you know, write the regular review and then, like, it'll make headlines. Because, I mean, that happens anytime on Rotten Tomatoes whenever there's a 0% score or a 100% score. They'll start quoting reviews left and right. I mean, that's just commonplace.
Oh, Bugsy, that sucks for you, my dude.
But, yeah, like, I'm not, like, losing my head over it. Like, there's nothing to get insultingly angry at, but at the same time, there's no effort there.
Good job, you got him.
And it
For like
and it made money. I mean, it was only number 2
You got him.
in the box office, but still, the fact that it made that much money for such little effort, and it really wasn't any effort in there. It's just a little disheartening. So yeah, nothing to get, like, outraged about.
Seriously, combat stance in that door right now?
Because it didn't make a lot of money, but
Can you
but it did make enough where I think that, you know, I guess just the fact that it made any money, that it even got in the top 5, is just a little disconcerting. And why would you bring up the Rubik's Cube cartoon? No one's brought that up in like 30 years. You're the first person to do that. Well, a lot of people kind of did watch the Emoji Movie, ironically. Because, like, at least in our market, we didn't get a critic screener for that. And, ooh, Tommy Jarvis. We didn't get a critic screener, and the few that did had an embargo for Thursday, so nobody could really warn anybody about the film or get an early review out.
What am I gonna do?
So that kind of irks some critics into saying, like, oh, this was junk because we had to wait so long. Alright, Jason.
You're making a very bad decision there, friend.
Hang on, I'll protect you.
Oh, there isn't anything in here.
There we go. Brad
He's
Jones
already
bought the
getting up.
Rubik's
That's
cartoon.
nice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't want to hate watch it, but at the same time, I feel like
I'm help you. Come to me.
I gotta see this film at some
I
point.
don't believe you.
Just because, I don't know, like, I feel like I gotta almost see it at some point just to, you know, make up my mind about it, but I don't want to go in, like, you know, wanting to hate it. Oh my goodness. Nor do I actually want to go in, to the Emoji Movie with kind of like this, you know, contrarian stance where just like, oh, everyone was dogpiling on the film. Well, it's not that bad. For all I know, it probably is that bad, knowing Sony. But I'll judge it when I see it, obviously. Yeah, I do agree, though. You know, don't watch stuff just to hate it. Unless, of course, it is really, really funny. Which, in that case, I would recommend you watch Wish Upon. Oh boy. Can we make it? Can we make it in there? Yeah, and you touched upon, like, the biggest thing is, you know, don't go into a movie wanting to hate. Especially that's true for a lot of critics should adhere to that as well. Like, I mean, I don't keep going to the movies just so I can hate on it. Oh. I go to the movies so I get my head smashed in by Jason here. Ah, well, got one shot in. Sometimes when the film is so bad as described to me, I just get disappointed. I'm one of the few people who actually dug Jurassic World. Both films you mentioned, like Jurassic World and the Book of Henry, actually, I actually dug on a, not an ironic way, like I actually think they're legitimately interesting films. And I know I'm alone on that. I know I really am alone on that. Like, I swear, like, me and Colin Colbert were probably like the only two critics who liked Book of Henry. I'm just like, yeah, he gets it. Like, we want to see something different. But then he gave 3.5 stars to Transformers: Age of Extinction. I'm like, oh, you lost me, dude. Yes, people should see Atomic Blonde instead of the Emoji Movie.
Oh, come on.
Well, yeah, you know, if they like it, you know, who are you to judge? But at the same time, you know, you gotta have an opinion. Like, you know, a lot of people will look at critics and say, like, well, you know, people should make up their minds. Like, yeah, but, you know, when somebody asks you about a movie, it's like, oh, you saw this movie? Well, what'd you think? You typically don't want to say, I don't know, make up your mind. What do you need me for? I do have a soft spot for Moonraker. Actually, there's quite a few Star Wars boom titles that that I do kind of like. Yeah, like there's a soft spot in my heart for The Last Starfighter. You enjoy Highlander 3 and Jason Takes Manhattan. I don't agree with you, but I'll defend your right to say that. But yes, people should go see Atomic Blonde. I think it's a mess of style, but there are some cool moments in there. The 10-minute sequence of the unbroken shot where Charlize Theron beats up a whole bunch of people going upstairs in the apartment building and into a room and slaughtering a whole room full of people, which is like something straight out of the Raid, is worth watching. Even though the rest of the movie isn't like that. Which stinks. Because I wish it was more like the Raid. But yeah, if it hasn't been confirmed yet, yeah, Charlize Theron is an action star because she carries that film that's just kind of a convoluted mess. it is pretty badass. I will say that. I think it's just, I wish it actually had kind of like a consistency to its style, because there are points where it feels like
You know.
there are points where it feels like it's trying to be like, you know, kind of a neon 80s type spy thriller, and then there are other points where it feels like it's trying to be a raw action picture where, you know, she's beat up and bloody and exhausted towards the end. And then there are scenes where she's where it's kind of like a slow motion.
Oh my
goodness. Where it's kind of a slow motion action picture. It's just kind of all over the place. And in bits and pieces, it's actually it's a great film. Well, it is a Bond film. Like, I mean, in premise, yeah, it's straight out of like a Bond film. But I don't think it's quite as goofy. That's the one thing I didn't like about the film. Like, you can feel like it's trying to be more bombastic and a little crazy with it, but it's a little bit inconsistent, where I don't think it quite hits that level of being crazy. You know, like, it's very close to being like John Wick, which I believe is one of the directors from John Wick worked on that. I have not yet seen the incredible Jessica James. I do have to check that out. Oh man.
Damn it, no!
Oh, you're getting mauled. Any good kill here? Yes, oh shoot, who's the ballerina? Yeah, John Wick 2 is probably my favorite action film of the year. I'm trying to think if there's... Well, I guess Baby Driver is technically an action film, I guess, yeah. Okay, it's one of my favorite action films of the year. Oh, poor AJ. Trying to remember who Ballerina was. Was she was she the Ruby Rose character? I don't know. But more John Wick is fine. If those guys want to keep doing action films forever, let them do it. Let's see about the Planet of the Apes franchise. I've yet to see War of the Planet of the Apes, but I absolutely love Rise and Dawn. I think those are stellar films. Oh, we're gonna get a chair kill. Ooh, have not seen that one before. That was beautiful. Yeah, the Planet of the Apes franchise is probably one of the best trilogies going. Well, I haven't seen War yet, so... but the first two I really like so much that I doubt that the third film will be any terrible.
Mommy is proud of you. Now come home.
Which sucks. I really wanted to see War of the Planet of the Apes, but we had, like, the thing is, like, it's a Fox film, and what I love so much about Fox is that they will do they'll do early screeners where, because, like, usually the screeners that we do for films are about like a week in advance, about a week or a few days in advance, and unfortunately, like, because, like, the Fox films are like 3 weeks in advance, we don't get they get jumbled up in a week, and they have to be placed at odd times in theaters, and so I didn't quite catch it. Hoping to catch it soon. No, I've seen the original Planet of the Apes, of course. you mean the franchise as a whole or just the current one? Because, yeah, like, as a whole, first two I thought were actually pretty good. And then I think it just kind of, like, fell off a cliff after that. Yeah, by the time we got to Tim Burton, yeah, it was clear that, you know, it should have been buried a little longer. Until Matt Reeves got to it. It's an interesting franchise. It started off as a silly concept that was kind of cultish, and then just kind of like went downhill with like cheaper effects, and then had a soulless remake by Tim Burton, and then just kind of rose like a phoenix and became one of the best trilogies of the decade. It's an interesting franchise. I dig it. Although not as good as a Planet of the Apes musical. Such an irresistible song. Can I play the piano anymore? Of course you can. Well, I couldn't before. Brilliant. Well, Tom Rothman gave everyone a hard time at Fox. He, if I remember correctly, for one of the X-Men films, Bryan Singer told Rothman that, oh, we gotta have, like, Sentinels in it. And Rothman said no, and Singer was like, well, why can't we have Sentinels? Like, because I think giant robots are stupid, and we're not gonna have any giant robots in this movie. And then somebody came to him with an idea for Iron Man. He was like, well, what did I just say? No robots. We're not doing the robot thing. Yeah, no one liked Rothman at the time around, like, was it like 2003 to 2006? And so everyone just, like, dogpiled on him. Because he was making the worst decisions at Fox. Especially if you look at, like, the films they're making at a time with, like, the Fantastic Four and Elektra. Ugh. Those were dark times for Fox. I know at least that a lot of people were ragging on him. 'Cause I remember listening to C. Robert Cargill when he was still a writer at Ain't It Cool News. Was really going hard on him. Oh, Alien vs. Predator. Can we forget that?
No, no, no.
Ooh, spooky. Did he? Where are we right now? Okay, so they're over by the barn. It's too bad that Alien vs. Predator couldn't be as fun as Freddy vs. Jason was. It feels like they had an idea for that. It's so much better. It did. Yeah, and it was one of those things where, you know, it got lost in the studio meddling and all that. We got Stewie17. Ask, have you seen Super Sentai? Is that the Power Rangers stuff? I haven't seen any, like, the Japanese Sentai shows, if that's what you're asking. Although I have seen a lot of the, you know, American stuff, you know, like, VR Troopers. Obviously, I've seen those stuff. Have not kept up with Power Rangers. Unless you're talking about the new Power Rangers, the new movie, yeah, which is... yeah, which is kind of lukewarm. Well, Doug Walker's a character, so obviously he's going to play up the hate for Something like Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah, but Paul Anderson was everywhere at that point. Oh man, missing out on the party. Yeah, they hired him for everything. Like, they kicked off the late George Romero because he was working on a script for Resident Evil, and apparently it was too horror based and it wasn't enough action, so they kicked him off and put Paul Anderson on it, which sucks because from what I've heard, like, from what I've heard, Romero's Resident Evil script was apparently more faithful to the games. Oh boy. Like the new Power Rangers movie, I'll take it over Transformers. Yeah, the interesting thing about the Power Rangers film is that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And there were plenty of opportunities too. Like, I was dreading it from that first moment when oh, what was it? There's that first moment, like, where we see, like, Zordon being attacked by Rita with this whole, like, setup in the past, like, oh no, this is like Transformers. And then the very first joke is about two high school students masturbating a cow, or bull, I guess. And I was like, oh no. This is going to be the whole movie. And thankfully it's not. So, I guess it starts off low and then built up my expectations. I just wish that it was kind of more of a Power Rangers movie. Because, yeah, like, they spend a lot of time building up the characters, and I like that, but by the time we actually get to the Power Rangers, it feels just kind of like too little too late. And especially because Goldar, which just looks like a pulsating, oh, come on, which looks like pulsating vomit, pretty much. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Peekaboo. I didn't mind the character stuff. I just wish they could have done it a little more involving with the Power Rangers, because they spend the whole movie doing this, like, hand-to-hand combat training, and it doesn't really matter in the end because they're just going to get in giant robots anyway. And the whole film, they're like, no, you're not ready for giant robots. Like, aren't we just going to use these in the final battle anyway? Yeah, I did like the character, though. I did like the teenagers. I think it was a little bit inconsistent with its action, but considering how terrible the action was at the ending, it's like, okay, I think they made the decent choice here. Stewie 17 says, I've seen Die Ranger. Oh my goodness. Somebody's really into Sentai shows. Nothing against Sentai shows, I do not have the patience to get through them. Like, what was that guy's name? What's his name? That atop the fourth wall guy who did all those Power Rangers videos. I kind of feel for him because I look at how many seasons there are of Power Rangers. It's like, oh no, why would anyone undertake making those videos? Linkara, that's it. I actually did a panel with him at Anna Minneapolis many years ago. We were talking about the new 52, just reviewing the comics. Yeah, he was a decent guy. Didn't see much of him. We just kind of like met briefly, talked about what we were gonna do. Yeah, it was kind of fun. I think he's semi-local to Minnesota, I think, because I've seen him at a couple different Minnesota conventions around here. it's strange to think that, you know, these Sentai shows that, you know, grew up with are just still going strong, you know, that and like Pokemon and Ninja Turtles. And it's not like a revival, it's like this stuff never left. Got him. Rangers BCT. They look great. That's interesting. I'll have to check them out. I fell off of DC a while back when they got a new writer in Green Lantern, because that's always really interested in reading that Timeless Green Lantern. And I didn't really like the new writers on it. But since Rebirth, I've heard that the current DC event of like Rebirth has been really stellar, especially the Superman run. So I definitely have to check that out. 'Cause it's been a long time since I've read a good Superman comic. I really liked Grant Morrison's run. I know a lot of people have problems with Grant Morrison's Action Comics, but I really dug that run. Oh yeah, Sailor Moon never really stopped either. I especially love, I got my daughter into Sailor Moon. We went to a video store and we found the old ADV DVD release of like the Deke dub. And I love that old Sailor Moon dub. Just because everyone has like kind of like Boston accents, and they have the Sailor Says segments. And they try to write in comedy anytime they can. I love that script so much. I have not showed her the Viz dub yet. I probably will eventually if I want to show her Sailor Moon S, because like Deke didn't do a dub of S, so yeah, I'll probably show her S. I know she's been begging me for more Sailor Moon, and I gotta go find it because the video store that I frequent doesn't have the Sailor Moon S. They only have the first series and the Sailor Moon R. Yeah, it's the Deke dub. That wonderful, wonderful Deke dub. I know a lot of people hate the Deke dub, but consider the alternative at the time. Still the Blu-rays. Okay, cool. I'll check those out. I know they have them on. I've seen the DVD sets in Target, so I know they're out there. But the alternative to Deke picking up Sailor Moon was there was this company I think it was called like Transamerica, and they wanted to take Sailor Moon and make an American version of it. That would be, yeah, Toon Makers. Yeah, it was going to be half live action and half animated, and they were gonna surf the stars in their little sailboats that went sailboat spaceships. Oh, that was amazing. I kind of want to see a pilot of that. I do too. But apparently, like, there's a rumor that there was a pilot shot, but no one's seen anything past, you know, that test footage. Power Rangers premiered, Super Sentai was in 7th. Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah, we're late to Japanese fads. Like, we're late to the Sentai stuff, we relate to the giant robot stuff. Yeah, Japan's advanced. Yeah, that's the interesting thing, is like that Toon Maker video, nobody has like the actual source on that. Like it was shown once at a convention in the 90s, and then no one saw it. It's one of those like mysteries. Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries, a Sailor Moon tape with American animation and Saved by the Bell actors.
This can't be happening.
If you or anyone you know have seen Sailor Moon. Of course she was African American. Gotta have it diverse. No, wait, not only African American. If I remember correctly, there was a wheelchair-bound Sailor Scout, or at least a wheelchair-bound friend. Because, you know, friendly for handicapped people too. Gotta cover all your bases. Yeah, no one's leaked that Sailor Moon tape ever. It's one of those things like those missing Doctor Who episodes, you know, the hunt is still on. Not heard of Paper House. Is that only on VHS? I know I have still have a few films that are only on VHS. We're getting close. Getting close to getting them all up there. Oh, it's about the guy who made Candyman? Oh. It's on my list now. Ooh. Early score by Hans Zimmer. Now I have to see it. Damn it. Damn you, Sebastian, giving me all these recommendations. I'm already booked solid with the films I gotta see in theaters. Now I got these. Oh my goodness. I would actually like to see, I'm not sure if they released it yet, but I want to see they don't have the director's cut of Jason Goes to Hell. Apparently the Blu-ray, at least one of the Blu-ray sets, only has the theatrical cut, which cuts out a hefty chunk of the gore. Like, I had to look it up online, some of the scenes that were cut. Like, there's an extended scene where there's more blood that comes out of faces. There's the what else is there? I think there's an extended sequence of the guy in the morgue who gets it first, who gets like his face forced through a grate. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think of other films I want on DVD that aren't on it yet. Most are on it now, and if they're not, you can find them on print services. Oh, actually, I want Cleopatra, Queen of Sex, if they could find the original dub of it. Which, honestly, not that much sex for an animated film, anyway. Oh, yeah, I know. There was that the old release had the director's cut on it. Can't find it now. It's like out of print. Well, no, well, pretty much anything from that era of like the 70s of animation was pretty much garbage. It's like, oh, have you seen this cartoon? It's like, oh, it's terrible. Why is it terrible? Oh, well, it was made in 1970. Oh, say no more. I gotcha. Yeah, the Godzilla cartoon was pretty bad. Although I've heard that the was it the one they made in the 90s was actually pretty good. The one that followed up the horrible Roland Emmerich movie. Okay. Oh, it's taking too long. It's not worth the points. Okay, one more match, and then we're gonna call it quits for the night. It's been good. It's been a lively match. Well, at least lively with the chat. Not so much with the, not so much with the game. Probably gonna have to switch this up. And find a different game to play. I have a few different ones I'm looking at. Oh my goodness.
Seru loh, Chat. Sumpah, Chat. Serius game ini.
Come on. Just give me one last good game here. Probably gonna move on to some like Hotline Miami or some like Fallout probably. Yeah, Fallout's probably a good game you could chat to. Well, I got Mike Tyson. That's good enough for me. What's up, Mike? And Mike doesn't have a mic. How do you like that? I guess we got a few people who got mics. But it's only the Japanese ones. Perfect. Just thumbing through some news while I wait here. See that Neil Blomkamp is going to start on a new movie. Here's hoping you can find more than just apartheid and shooting in South Africa. Really got to do something different. Which Jason is it? La Chapa.
I gotta find the others.
Let's see, maybe I can avoid it. I'm very, very quiet. Yeah. Oh shoot, close to people. I did not realize that. Oh no, the Choppa. Come on, man. Baseball bat. So I'm hoping that that the screening for Detroit will go better tomorrow, because apparently I heard that some of the Detroit preview screenings have been having they've been having some fights have broken out at a few of them over people fighting over the content of the film. Uh-oh. Help me, Mike. I want to be like Mike. I want to live. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, apparently there were some fights at some Detroit screenings. And I learned this just after I got out of the screening for Atomic Blonde, where there was also a big fight. So I'm not looking forward to going to the theater. Well, here's hoping. To be fair, that's the fight at Atomic Blonde is the only fight I've seen happen at a theater in at least 10 years, so hopefully that's the only one I'll see. Run, La Chapa. Defend yourself. Get all the doors. Ugh. How many cell phones are you? Uh-oh.
Help me, please.
How?
Anyone.
Oh, because he cut it, didn't he? Nuts. And we're done. La Chapa got La Chopped. I'm sure that joke's been made to death. Oh boy. Well, it's just about midnight, so I don't know, should I wait? Nah, it's not worth it. Yeah, I'll take a look at my stats before we close it out for the night. Well, this has been quite a fun evening. We got a few nice people in chat here. Some decent games here, but not that well. Probably play Fallout next time or something like that. I think it's much better getting to play over. But yeah, I had a great time talking movies tonight. Probably gonna do this on YouTube more often. I've been trying to do it on Twitch, hoping I get more of a response. But yeah, YouTube's been pretty good. So thank you for watching. Sebastian, I know you're BRB right now, but if you hear this, I want to thank you for being in the chat. Also, Stewie17. Be sure to check out the channel for more movie reviews and such, and more gaming. So, thank you all for watching. Have a great night.